Hey everyone, this is Gabe's Garage, and this is my turd bucket F150, and today we're going to be pulling this motor and actually figuring out what is wrong inside of it. So this motor is completely seized. When I got it, the guy told me that the PCM was bad, and when I got it home, you know that Facebook Marketplace excitement you always get. You get something home, you start tearing into it, and oh no, this is a way bigger project than we thought. Well, this is what we're dealing with now. So, another thing I want to cover real quick before I get into pulling this motor is some of you on TikTok have been sending me messages saying, why don't I put the truck on a lift? It'd be so much easier to have it in the air. Cameraman, would you do me a favor and just point the camera that way? I don't own a lift, but, you know, maybe if you guys like and share this video and subscribe, we might have a lift sometime soon. You never know, we could take off. But without further ado, we're going to get into pulling this motor, taking the bolts off. All we have to do is get one more motor mount out and it should be good to go. So we've got the engine out of the truck. All of the motor mount bolts on that side were disconnected. And now we can finally get this thing on a stand over there and finally see what is wrong and what caused this to seize. Now I thought I was going to have a much bigger mess with the torque converter, but I really didn't. I mean, it didn't fill up that pan, nothing. Literally barely any mess. So now we're going to be able to get this motor pulled out back onto the engine stand, take out the main caps, and I'll see you guys when I got that done. So now we've got the engine on the stand, we're ready to take some accessory stuff off, like the oil pump, and then after that we're going to get to the main caps and the piston caps. So the first thing we're going to do is remove these little 8mm bolts that are down here. Get those broken loose, just like so. There's a 13mm bolt right here that I've already broken loose because we were having a little bit of difficulty, so I had to restart this process. And then next we're going to take our 9mm wrench to get this stud thing off here, which we are probably going to have to hammer because it did not want to come off for me. Looks like it's going to give us some trouble. See if that's gone anywhere now. Honestly, it feels like I'm about to round my wrench out. So we're going to switch over to the 12-point side so we can get a little better grip on it. And continue with trying to get this heat out of there. Man, that was tight in there. Look at that. Now we gotta play hell actually getting a wrench off of there. There we go. Now, after that, we should be able to remove all these and the oil pump should come right off the face of the crank here. And another thing I just like to note is that I always like to bag and tag all of my bolts. So set aside a Ziploc bag if you're going to do something like this, because you'd be surprised just how quick the bolts add up, and then you start being unable to keep track of what. You know, you may think you can remember, oh, this bolt goes there, but nope. I've had it happen to me many, many times before, and I've learned my lesson to just bag and tag. So now we're going to loosen up these little 8s here by hand because we got everything broke loose, and then this shaft should slide off pretty easily. At least we hope. And just like that, the oil pump comes right off. So now, like I said, I usually like to set these things aside so you can bag and tag them. We're having a little bit of oil leakage there, but it's really no problem. You know, set your bolts back where you got them out of. And there, we'll keep that set aside and then we'll put it in a bag later. So the next thing we're going to do is to take off these main caps. And now, it's been a day and a half, and they haven't budged a single bit. So cameraman, come here real quick. And now, if you'll notice, I have whacked these things with a chisel and all kinds of things, and I can't get them to move. So we're gonna come back over here to this motor once we actually get some parts for it, a new piston, a new crank, and in the meantime, we're gonna come over here real quick to this table because I have ended up getting some of those pistons out. And I'm gonna show you the health of the bearings right now, which they're not looking pretty. So what we're gonna end up doing is getting some parts for this motor, and that's when we'll pick up the series for this again. What we're gonna do with the F-150 is get a new motor, get it put in, flip it, and today actually I picked up an Ford Ranger Splash. It's a special edition. It's a really cool truck. It's got some nice rims, and I'll be putting out a short and a TikTok for you guys to check that out tomorrow. What we're going to do with that thing is do a full restoration back to OEM quality.